Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. You know, not all heroes wear capes. You are staring at something that is absolutely a godsend, or should I say beyond god tier send, for signature stones as of November 2021. Now, again, it's important to say November 2021 because it's not going to be November 2021 forever. You could come across this video in March of 2022, and it will have updated some. But the beautiful thing about this kind of guide is rarely, because unless the champion gets significantly buffed and their signature ability changes, it is rare that champions move away from a certain class. So it's not like a tier list, right, where you're constantly having to filter out champs depending on how well they hold up, especially once nodes change. So we have to give the flowers to the person who designed this. At the very bottom of the screen, you will see that ChronicVeisalgia? Veisalgia? I'm sorry, buddy, for butchering your name. He says this list is a personal opinion and intended as a guide only. 6 stone investments will differ for every account. Exactly. So the first thing I would say is, if you really love a champion and they might be considered to be an average champion. I know people that used to love, shout out to Suida, who's the king of doing this, taking champions like pre-buff Spidey Gwen, or Satan herself, Kamala Khan, who he's cleared content with better than people who use the best of the best on paper champions. If there's a champion you love to use and you want to throw some SIGs into them, because I also think sometimes it's just nice to have a champion at SIG 200, right? Like, I've done it before. Their PI is higher. And in the end, you can only bring 5 champions into Event Quest attack. So if there's a champion you use every day, even if their signature ability doesn't change their overall ability that much between SIG 20 and SIG 200, or even SIG 1 and SIG 200, like, say, Nick Fury, it still is nice to have their rating higher when you go into a fight. And so a lot of times, that's how I've used 6 stones. It's just to increase their rating and then eventually in the arena increase the amount of points they'll give you, even if it's not that much of a difference than anything else. SIG ability is almost like secondary to why I sometimes put signature stones into a champion. With that being said, let's discuss these incredible rankings. Again, shout out to the Summoner. They are the real hero and real MVP of today. So the priority for the mutant class between Red Mags, Kitty Pryde, Omega Red, Colossus, and Namor is a good start. Now, I would disagree primarily with Red Mags because I've seen him unawakened still be an absolutely unbelievable boss, whereas Namor unawakened is not nearly as much, and Omega Red especially is not. But in general, I agree. Now, skill, he puts Black Panther in there, fine. But if you compare that to Aegon, not really a comparison, right? So I'd go Aegon, Falcon, Crossbones, and then Black Panther for the skill class. Now, the science class is a huge exception because all 4 of these champions, Cap, Infinity War, Void, Red Guardian, and Thing, desperately need 6 stones. So you can't go wrong with max-sigging any of those champions. I would say, though, out of those 4, Thing is probably the one that can get away with it the most, but he still benefits greatly from SIG 200. Mystic class. Again, agree to disagree with Diablo. I've got mine at SIG 20, and he still is incredible. Of course, he's rank 3. Scarlet Witch, though, absolutely. Mojo as well. Now, it's interesting. The last 2 classes you can see not as much of a 6 stone priority. So if you're taking away anything from this so far, really save your generic 6 stones for champs like Aegon, Namor, Omega Red, and then any of those science champs. But Guardian and Ghost is another champion that, like Red Mags, you can have not awakened and still destroy content with. Guardian, on the other hand, you need SIG 200 to be up to his full potential. Sparkles and Angela. So, agree or disagree with that first row priority? Let me know in the comments. Solo investment. These are champs that it's kind of up to you how far you want to take them. Their SIG ability isn't going to be game-changing at 200 versus, say, 40, but it's really up to you. Now, we're not going to go through all of these because that would take 30 minutes, and you know I don't like to put out 30-minute videos on my channel. I will say I would have put Wolverine in the priority category for this. So that one I would disagree with and move up. Same with, honestly, Blade. I love Blade at even Sig 120. Some people will say for science that they appreciate a higher Sig Human Torch, but I think most people are just like, meh. I love Max Sig Red Hulk. I use him a lot. For those of you who use Spider-Man 2099 every day, what do you think about his Sig ability? What is the target area for that? New Scarlet Witch, I can't comment on because I haven't used her before, but I've been told similar to the OG. It's nice to have a pretty high Sig Stone counter. Ghost Rider, I don't think it really matters much at all. So that I probably would have put almost down to, well, I guess not great at Sig 1. It's somewhere in the middle, closer to Sig 1 than Sig 100, certainly. When it comes to the Cosmic Champs, love me some Venom. I actually love me some Ronin, non-Hawkeye Ronin. And then I really think for tech, you could easily argue, particularly with both Visions, but especially OG Vision, put him at the top. OG Vision, to see any of his utility, you need him at least Sig 100, but you really won't feel like you're using him to his full potential until he's at least like Sig 140 or 150, which if you have an Awakened 6-star, that's a very expensive rank up. Okay, Sig 1, Iceman, White Mags, Gambit. Nick Fury is the poster child for this. Shang-Chi is a champion that might be great at Sig 1, but you're probably going to want to put more Sig Stones into him just to rank up his PI a little bit. Same with Immortal Abomination. I haven't used Anti-Venom much yet. What do y'all think of his Sig ability? Doom, with one of the best prestiges in the game. Again, you're taking him up for prestige as much as Sig ability. I still think for so many champions that you use every day in the game, it's their overall rating that matters most. Corvus is the same. Hyperion, the same. Cosmic Ghost Rider, for sure. Star-Lord, great at Sig 1. I gotta disagree, boss. Respectfully disagree. I put him in the solo investment category. All right, Alliance War Defense. This is really where I I cannot speak that much to, because it's been years since I've done Alliance War. So I'm just going to have you all check out that column. I'm not going to spend any time on it. I'm going to move on. Check out the Prestige counter. This is a fantastic bottom row. You can see just how important it is to eventually get those champions to where they are designed to be. Silver Surfer still largely reigns supreme, though I still think, even though we have some real Silver Surfer loyalists in the comments, it's still really important to specify what you want out of a champion. I don't agree, and a lot of people will disagree with this, I don't agree with ranking up a champion just for prestige. If you're not going to use them on defense or primarily offense, don't waste the resources because they're so precious. If I'm in an alliance that tells me I'm going to get kicked if I don't take up Silver Surfer over, say, Cosmic Ghost Rider, or especially someone like Hyperion, I'm just going to leave. And that may just be me, but life is too short and the game is too short to just be in an alliance where you are ranking up people to make your alliance or your leaders happy. I'm not trying to fault them because I get the thought process behind it, but it's just not healthy for a player who loves using somebody but has to sacrifice taking that person up to rank 4 or rank 5 in order to please their alliance. If you want to do that, wait until you get generic rank up gems or class rank up gems that don't use your precious individual resources, and use those gems for prestige rank ups. But if you're using tier 5 basic, tier 2 alpha, tier 4 class catalyst, etc., and you have a small amount, which most people do, you really want to enjoy the game. And so I know that some people aren't going to be happy with me saying that because they disagree and they think it's not good for me to tell somebody who's in their alliance not to follow their instructions. But I've just been happier going to a semi-retired alliance anyway. And if you're at that point where you're burnt out, especially after the way this month has turned out in the game, that's where I'd recommend doing that over being in a prestige or bust alliance. Well, there you have it, YouTube. A huge thank you again to Chronic. Again, I'm going to mispronounce this. I'm going to say Veisalgia or Veisalgia. You are the true hero of today. And let's end this before we get to 10 minutes to avoid those pesky triple ads.